Hey, what's up everyone? My name is techgeekjosh and you guys are currently watching the unboxing and first look of the Straight Talk Wireless LG Premier Pro LTE. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So a few specs of the LG Premier Pro LTE are that it's LTE-V, meaning it operates on the Big Red network, also known as Verizon. It has a 5.3-inch touchscreen, Android 8.1 Oreo, 16 gigabytes of ROM, an 8-megapixel rear-facing camera with a 5-megapixel front, and it's also Wi-Fi capable. Upon opening the flap, we're greeted to the plan information on the left panel and the phone itself on the right with some more specifications that include battery talk time up to 14 hours, standby time up to 8 days, access to apps and more on Google Play. It supports up to a 2 terabyte SD card, 8 GPS capabilities, MP3 player, a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor, and Bluetooth 4.2. So now that we got the specs out of the way, let's go ahead and unbox it. So since I did not bring my safety knife or my little knife, I have to use this guy. So let's hope that I don't ruin myself or the box in any way. And this is me taking my time, by the way, to make sure nothing gets damaged. Looks like I'm starting to damage the box just a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the box has been successfully opened, let's go ahead and pop out the phone. And now let's go ahead and pop this cover off like so and set the phone to the side. And here we see we have an unpackaged, which is pretty weird because we usually see packaged accessories. A white LG wall adapter, as you can see, USB in right there, LG branding on the front with some kind of barcode. If you guys would like to scan that, be my guest. I'm not sure what it'll take you to, and some specifications on the back. And then we have our micro USB charging cord. Nothing special here. Just the usual USB and not Type-C. And then we have your LG Premier Pro LTE quick start guide, which it shows a white phone, which is pretty odd. And we also have our terms and conditions of service, and as well, I was not expecting this, a SIM ejection tool, which is quite odd. As you can see, the shape of it is quite odd. We don't normally see this kind of shape, and not that it matters, but when it comes with a SIM ejection tool, that means the battery and back cover are not removable, and that is correct with this LG Premier Pro LTE. And we get the usual pamphlets and whatnot in the back cover right here that no one ever reads. So let's go ahead and pop off this cover and get out the Premier Pro itself. Wow, this actually feels really nice in the hand. Like, holy cow. It's not too thick as well, as you can see there. 5.3-inch touchscreen, just giving you guys a reminder of that. It has an actual metal back cover, which I think the LG Stylo 4, which this LG Premier Pro kind of resembles in the back. I think this Stylo 4 has only a plastic back cover, but I could be wrong on that, and you guys may correct me in the comments. And here's a little sticker outlining some information, like I think the IMEI and whatnot. Yeah, IMEI information and other information. So let's go ahead and take a look around it before we go any further. So up front we have our 5-megapixel front-facing camera with our earpiece, then our 5.3-inch display, and on that little screen protector here we can see that some specs that it says are 8-megapixel rear and a 5-megapixel front camera, auto shot, and a real metal cover, which is talking about this, which as you can see it looks like it's already starting to attract some prints on it, which may or may not be good over time. On the bottom we see that we have a headphone jack, which is again pretty rare these days, but especially on prepaid phones like this, there always will be a headphone jack. I don't know if there's any other prepaid phone in general, that doesn't have a headphone jack. So with prepaid phones, you'll always find a headphone jack. And right in the middle we have our micro USB charging port. On the left side we have our separated volume rockers and nothing else. On the right side we have only the micro SD card tray / SIM tray, meaning both the SIM card and SD card go in this little slot because the back is not removable. And at the top we have our little pinhole microphone. And last but not least, on the back we have our 8 megapixel rear camera, flash light underneath it, and our power button, which at this very moment I'm not sure if it is a fingerprint sensor. Our Straight Talk, TracFone, and Total Wireless branding, and our LG branding, along with our single rear firing speaker, which I've said it before and I'll say it again. Some may like it, some may hate it. And if you guys recall me saying I don't personally care where speaker placement is on any phone. You can see I'm starting to get my fingerprints on this device. So let's go ahead and peel off the screen protector so we can continue. And set it to the side. And right off the bat, this may seem weird, but this device is reminding me, at least in terms of the front, reminding me of the ZTE Blade Z Max, but just in a smaller form factor. So anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and give it its first boot up. LG, powered by Android. So while this is doing its thing, I will come back once I have set it up. Okay, so everyone, so now the Premiere Pro is all up and running, and let's go ahead and turn down the brightness for the video's sake. As you can see, it's currently at 62% brightness. So let's just bump that down to like 20%. And while we're here, let's go ahead and quickly go over the notification toggles here. So we have Capture Plus, Wi-Fi, Sound, Bluetooth, Rotation, Data, Flashlight, Airplane Mode, DTS X 3D Sound. I may have to take a look into that in the review. No idea what that is. Probably something to do with sound. Sync, Hotspot, Battery Saver Extended, Location, Comfort View, Do Not Disturb, and Data Saver. And I'm getting some notifications here, so don't mind that. And I've got to say that the screen is surprisingly nice and sharp and not very pixelated whatsoever. You kind of have to expect with a phone of this caliber, but take my word for it, if you guys can't tell from the camera's perspective, it's surprisingly detailed and nice and sharp. So let's go ahead and quickly go over the bloatware apps that come on the LG Premiere Pro LTE. So as you can see, they're basically categorized into folders. We have a Google folder, which is pretty standard on a lot of phones. A media folder that has basically music and FM radio. Productivity, we see that we have Calendar, Contacts, One Weather, which is a bloatware app. File Manager, or actually I may have to take that back. I think One Weather is on most phones nowadays. Tools, we can see that we have Wi-Fi utility, calculator, clock, audio recorder, downloads, settings, Quick Memo Plus, and tasks. And if we go ahead and take a look around here, we literally don't get too much, if any, bloatware at all. My Account Downloader and My Sites are the only two apps on here that we will and probably should consider bloatware. But that's basically it. As you can see, there's no other page of apps. It's literally just one. And another little neat aspect is that, as you can see here, there is an apps button, and actually you don't have to press that. You can actually just swipe up or swipe down. Or I was gonna say swipe down, but as you can see, it swiping down launches Google, which I wasn't expecting. But there you guys have it. You swipe up for the apps, or in that case, if you don't want to do so, just tap the app drawer icon. So let's go ahead and take a quick look and see if this phone has emojis. And it looks like we have the updated version of LG Keyboard. I could be wrong. Let's take a look. Yeah, LG Keyboard. We get LG Keyboard and Google Voice Typing pre-installed with this phone. And as you can see here, there's a little emoji button, and here are all of your guys' emojis if any of you so happen to wonder if this phone does have emojis, and there's no shortage of them. So as you can see here, all the emojis right there at your fingertips. So let's go ahead and take a look at the camera interface before we wrap up this unboxing and first look. And the phone has a 8 megapixel rear facing camera with a 5 megapixel front, as I just previously stated in the earlier portion of this unboxing and first look. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. So up here we have a settings button, then we have a mode button, which for right now we have auto and flash jump cut, which is pretty interesting. Then we have this little effects button. We see that we get negative, posterize, aqua, mono, none, and sepia. And then we get your camera flip button, like so. And since we're in the front facing camera, it looks quite decent on camera, and it actually looks a lot darker in person. So basically, the phone I'm recording with is making it look brighter than it actually is in person. Let's jump back to the rear camera, and then we have our flash on or auto or off, pretty usual there. And do we have that gesture? We do indeed, to flip between the front and rear cameras, like so. So that's pretty cool. And down here we get your record button. So if we tap that, we can see that it jumps into full screen mode, and we are recording a video. And since we're recording a video, we can either pause it like so, stop it, or take a photo like so. Let's go ahead and stop that. And right here, because we are in photo mode, we get our shutter button, and we get your recently taken photos and or video right there. And here's a little, how you say, let's just call it a little extra, because I can't really find the right word right now. But as you can see, we can share, presumably share to YouTube, messages, Gmail, quick memo, Bluetooth, and tapping the 3 dots. Yeah, you can share via, and you can share to YouTube, messages, Gmail, quick memo plus, Bluetooth, save to drive, email, add to maps, or upload to photos. And let's go ahead and jump into the camera settings, shall we? So we see that we get HDR, off, on, or auto. Cheese shutter, which basically we all should be familiar with. You just say something as of cheese, smile, whiskey, kimchi, or LG to take a photo. Scan QR code, tag locations, grid, and help. And down here we can see that here are our main buttons right here. So we can see that it has an 8 megapixel, and it goes down all the way to 6 megapixel at 1x1. And for video, it looks like this device can record in 1080p, and you also have HD at 16:9 or full HD at 16:9. So basically you get 720 or 1080p recording with this device. Timer for, let's see if the camera can focus on that. 3 seconds, 10 seconds, or presumably off. So let's go and jump back and switch to the front facing camera and see if we get any different settings for the front facing camera. So we get selfie shot, gesture shot or auto shot, save as flipped, HDR, on, auto, or off, gesture view, which basically you can check your selfie after you take it by bringing your phone closer. And then under useful features, we also see we have the same cheese shutter, tag locations, and help. So that basically sums up most of the camera the camera on the LG Premier Pro LTE. And I've got to say, so far I'm liking what I see. But is it worth the $79 price tag that I paid for it? Well, that's what we'll have to find out in the review. So that's basically going to do for me in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video in any way possible, and or found it useful in any way possible. And with all that being said, I will catch you guys again in the next one.